Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, first chapter, entitled The First Step in God Realization. Text number 26. Patalametasya hi padamulam Pathanti parshni prapade rasatalam Mahatalam vishwasrajotha gulpau Talatalam vai purushasya janghe. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Persons who have realized it have studied that the planets known as Patala constitute the bottoms of the feet of the Universal Lord, and the heels and the toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mahatala planets, and his shanks constitute the Talatala planets. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Outside the bodily existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the manifested cosmic existence has no reality. Everything and anything of the manifested world rests on Him, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.4. But that does not imply that everything and anything in the vision of a materialist is the Supreme Personality. The conception of the universal form of the Lord gives a chance to the materialist to think of the Supreme Lord, but the materialist must know for certain that his visualization of the world in a spirit of lording over it is not God realization. The materialistic view of exploitation of the material resources is occasioned by the illusion of the external energy of the Lord, and as such, if anyone wants to realize the supreme truth by conceiving of the universal form of the Lord, he must cultivate the service attitude. Unless the service attitude is revived, the conception of Virat realization will have very little effect on the seer. The transcendental Lord in any conception of his form is never a part of the material creation. He keeps his identity as Supreme Spirit in all circumstances and is never affected by the three material qualities, for everything material is contaminated. The Lord always exists by his internal energy. The universe is divided into 14 planetary systems. 7 planetary systems called Bhur, Bhuvar, Swar, Mahar, Janas, Tapas and Satya are upward planetary systems, one above the other. There are also 7 planetary systems downward, known as Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala and Patala, gradually one below the other. In this verse, the description begins from the bottom because it is in the line of devotion that the Lord's bodily description should begin from his feet. Shukadeva Goswami is a recognized devotee of the Lord, and he is exactly correct in the description. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
So here in this chapter, the first step in God realization, Shukadeva Goswami is explaining to Parikshit Maharaj how we can, a person who is not a personalist, a person who does not believe in the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the forms which is manifested in this material world. So this universe is made up of 14 planetary systems, 7 systems up and 7 down, Earth in the middle. Earth in the middle and then 6 planetary systems up. So Earth is in that upward planetary system and 7 planets down. And this entire 14 planetary system can be conceived of as the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the main point that is being brought out in this verse. And here the 3 planets' names are given: Patala, Rasatala, Mahatala and Talatala. 4 planets down, and 3 more planets down is in the next verse. Oh, by the way, the next verse has no translation, no purport. So I'll just read it so we cover the entire. You have that verse? So in this verse, 4 planetary systems down, and the other 3 are, that is verse number 27, Dve Januni Sutalam Vishwamurter urudvayam vitalam chatalam cha mahitalam tad jaghanam mahipate nabhastalam nabhi saro grinanti. The knees of the universal form are the planetary system of the name Sutala, and the two thighs are the Vitala and Atala planetary system. The hips are Mahitala, and the outer space is the depression of his navel. So everything is there in detail. So the feet, the soles of the feet is one planet. Then you start moving up. The ankles, you visualize it as another planet. Then the portion between that shank is the portion, that's the word used here. Shank is the portion between the knees and the ankles. The calf muscles, that is one planet. And then the thighs is one planet. And like that we come. So now if your question is, okay, all these planets are described, what about the space surrounding the planet? So that also is described. The space, the outer space surrounding the planet is considered to be his navel, or the depression of the navel. So the complete description is there. What is the difference between the lower planets and the upper planets? You know? What is the major difference between the lower planets and the upper planets? The major, of course, there are a lot of differences. And the similarities. Actually, there are no similarities, differences. Similarities are that they are planets. Yes, what is the difference? Anybody knows? Sorry? Yeah, enjoyment is more grosser in the lower planets and more subtler in the higher planets. And the opulence, where is more opulence? In the lower planets or in the higher planets? In the lower planets there is more opulence. It is said that the lower planets, like Bali Maharaj's planet was a lower planetary system. Of course, he was a devotee, so his case was completely different. But there is more opulence and wealth in terms of external things in the lower planets, and it is said that the Devatas envy the wealth and opulence that the demons enjoy. So, lower planets are more opulent. Then how is it lower planet? It should have been the higher planet, no? Because they are all into gross enjoyment, and the most important thing, they are called Danavas or Daityas. They are not devotees. So in the lower planets, they want to defy God, they want to defeat God, they want to kill God, they want to fight with God. God is their enemy. That is the demoniac mentality, and that is why they are the lower planets. But in the upper planets, they are devotees of Lord. They respect Lord. They are the administrative government of God because they are devotees of God. They worship God. They fear God. In the lower planet, it is the ulta. It is said that the sun is illuminating the entire universe, right? According to Vedic scriptures, there is only one sun in the entire universe, in one universe. So the sun rays reach from Brahma Loka to Bhur Loka, till the planet Earth only. Beyond the planet Earth, that is the 7 lower planetary systems, sun rays do not reach there. So then, is it in darkness? No. Because their opulence is so much that, and it is said that, who is supporting every universe? Ananta. And on the Ananta, on the hoods of Ananta are those red jewels. So it is said that the light that emanates from the jewels of the Ananta reach out to all the lower planets. And there is so much of jewels in the lower planet itself that they all reflect this light, and like this, through the reflection of the jewels, rubies and diamonds and all that, the entire lower planets are kept lit. You see the kind of opulence that is there? So that's the difference. So that was about the lower and upper planets, because we are talking about that, and here the 7 lower planets are there. And all these things are there in the Bhagavatam, in the 5th canto, and in different places it is mentioned, what I was talking to you all about. Now coming to the upper planets, another very interesting description is there. It is said, this is there in some of our Vedic scriptures, the amount of happiness that a person can experience with maximum opulence, with maximum, what is the amount of, what is a measure of the highest material opulence in this material world? Best, good, very good, loving family, all kinds of wealth, all kinds of land, any amount of wealth and convenience and materialistic desires that you have, you can think of it, and that is considered to be the highest opulence, and that is considered to be 1 unit of happiness. How much happiness? 1 unit. So in today's Kali Yuga, nobody has a fraction of that 1 unit also. Because 1 unit of happiness means you have enough wealth, very good family, and very good everything, whatever you can talk, very good health, everything. In the next planetary system, so there are 6 planetary systems above, the amount of happiness increases by 100 times. So in just the upper planet, Bhuvar Loka, we are in Bhuloka, in the Bhuvar Loka, the happiness is 100 times multiplied by 1 of the Bhur Loka. Then in the Swarg Loka, Bhur, Bhuva, Swa. In the Swarg Loka, it is again 100 times the previous Loka. So by the time you come to Brahma Loka, what is the amount of happiness people at the Brahma Loka enjoy when compared to people on the planet Earth? 10 to the power of 14. Because 100 times it is increasing. Okay, 12 or 14, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 10 to the power of 12 happiness. And this is all in the material realm. You can imagine 10 to the power of 12 happiness is what? When that compared to 1 unit of happiness in this material world. And when you go further up, in the Brahman Jyoti, that impersonal, that happiness is, some calculations they have done, it is like many times more than this 10 to the power of 12. And that happiness becomes like, that Brahman happiness becomes like a drop of water when compared to the happiness in the spiritual world, which is like the ocean. So you're getting a relative idea of what happiness we are enjoying and what happiness we are entitled to. And that is our natural position. Right now, we are in a diseased position, and that is the reason we are suffering. So, these things should make us realize, I'm not in an ordinary place, I'm not in an ordinary, my goal of life is something very, 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 very sublime. I'm trying to get that happiness. That is why it says that Kiba mantra dila gosai kiba tar bal, jopite mantra korilo pagal. This is the amount of happiness in the Hare Krishna mantra. That this mantra will make us go mad. So, knowing this, that we are after such a, exalted goal in life, we should be very, 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 very seriously pursuing it. We should not be distracted, not be deviated, not be allured by material pleasures. Just like you see, Prabhupada gave a nice example. How, if you fall for material pleasure, it is so foolish. And the example that he gave is, suppose a person is diseased. Now when he is diseased, Say he has got typhoid, jaundice. Now what is the restriction? He cannot eat oily stuff, he cannot eat fry, he cannot eat puris, all these things he cannot eat. But if he tries to enjoy in this way, by eating puri, sense gratification, if he tries to enjoy when he is sick, what will happen? He'll get reactions. And his disease will prolong. In the same way, just like a diseased person. So what is the enjoyment for a diseased person? The enjoyment for a diseased person? Enjoyment for a diseased person is rules and regulations, restrictions. That restriction is enjoyment. Enjoyment in quotes. Because when he follows the rules and restrictions, simple diet, take some medicines, when he follows this and he recovers, when jaundice and typhoid, everything is gone, then he can actually enjoy. Actually, he cannot even enjoy that food. He's thinking that he's enjoying puri halwa when he's typhoid, jaundice, but actually he's getting more and more implicated. In the same way, right now we are all in the diseased state. And if in the diseased state we try to enjoy our senses, we will get further implicated. We will build karma and it will further prolong our suffering or stay in the material world. Like a person who's having fever, if he eats something, his fever will increase, his sickness will increase. So, more we try to enjoy our senses in this material world, more our journey in this material world will continue. And we will not be able to relish that unlimited, infinite happiness. So we should be, yes, very simple. And what is our restriction is not something very big. We are not, Prabhupada is not telling don't eat. We have to eat Krishna Prasadam. And we have to chant 16 rounds. We have to attend the morning program. So you see, our rules and regulations are so simple, so simple. Everything given and nobody is there to bother you also. It is just that we must stick on to it. And here in the purport, one important point is mentioned that if we want to realize God, if we want to understand God, then Prabhupada writes, he must cultivate the service attitude. He must cultivate service attitude. Unless service attitude is revived, the conception of the Virat realization will have very little effect. So even to realize the Virat Rupa of the Lord, which is an imaginary form, Prabhupada is writing, it is our devotee must cultivate the service attitude. Otherwise even this form cannot be realized. So what to talk of the Supreme Person without cultivating service attitude? You know the story of Madan Mohan Malviya? It's a very nice story to make us understand the importance of service attitude, doing practical devotional service. Madan Mohan Malviya, he was the Vice Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University. BHU even today is very famous. And this was during the time of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Both of them, Madan Mohan Malviya, Vice Chancellor is like a very big post. Is like the head of the university like that. So he knew Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati directly. They had a good relationship and good friendship. So once Madan Mohan Malviya he has a very complicated question, or not complicated, a very intricate philosophical question. And he said to himself that only Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati can give me answer to this question. Very high philosophical. So he came down from Banaras to meet Bhaktisiddhanta. Bhaktisiddhanta was in Calcutta, in his temple in Gaudiya Math. He came and met Bhaktisiddhanta and he said, so they met and some pleasantries were exchanged, and then Madan Mohan Malviya told Bhaktisiddhanta, Guruji, Guru Maharaj, I have one very intricate philosophical question and only you are competent to answer this, so I wish that you please answer my question. So Bhaktisiddhanta knew heart in heart, this Madan Mohan Malviya, big scholar he is, and he's read many books, but Bhaktisiddhanta wanted to tell him something which will come out at the end of this. This is a real incident which Prabhupada narrates. So Bhaktisiddhanta tells him, do like this. Today he gives some excuse and he says, you go and ask this question to those pujaris who are serving the deities, doing puja to the deities, doing arti. You please go and ask them. My disciples will answer. The pujaris will answer. So Madan Mohan Malviya was not happy with this answer. He came all the way from Lucknow to meet him and ask him personally, and now he's telling, you go and ask the pujaris. What will the pujaris know? Because pujaris are all simple devotees. They are not Kasab. He thought like that. Bhaktisiddhanta is a big scholar, and pujaris, they only worship the deities, only ring the bell. What will they know? But anyway, he insisted twice, but Bhaktisiddhanta wanted to teach him something. So Bhaktisiddhanta says, no, you please ask my disciples. So with a sad face, he goes and meets the pujaris. The pujari said, what happened, sir? How are you doing? They said, I'm fine, and I had a philosophical question, but your Guru Maharaj told me to come and ask you. So at that time, the arti had just gotten over, and pujaris had started washing the plates. So during those times, the pujari was the assistant pujari also. So the pujaris, instead of answering his question, the pujaris then told Madan Mohan Malviya, sir, we have to wash all the plates. Why don't you help us in washing the plates? After this is done, we can talk about your question. So there he got refused, and now here he's further getting, he's further told this, that you have to wash the plates. Madan Mohan Malviya, Vice Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University, has to wash plates. This was below his dignity. He's on a material platform, basically. So, but because the disciples were saying and the altar was right there and he could not say anything, so, with a sad face, he started washing the plates. Madan Mohan Malviya, he takes soap and scrub, whatever was available at that time. He starts washing them. But what started happening? This supposedly great personality, when he was washing the deity plates, one wonderful thing was happening. So he finishes washing the plate and he becomes overjoyed. He feels so happy after washing all the plates. And then the pujaris ask him, okay, so now we have done, thank you very much. So now you can ask your question. He says, wait a bit, I'll come back. He finishes, then he goes to Bhaktisiddhanta directly. And Bhaktisiddhanta said, so you met my pujaris and did they answer your question? He said, I got the answer to all my questions perfectly well, even without asking your pujaris. And from today I understood the value of puja service, the great position your pujaris are in. So he said, why? What happened? He said, when I was washing the plates, Krishna very mysteriously answered all the questions from within my heart. And I do not have any more doubts now. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So Bhaktisiddhanta said, this is exactly what I wanted to teach you. That simply asking big questions and philosophizing and this and that will not help. Practical devotional service has to be done, because that is when Krishna will reveal himself to you. Because we are not pure souls. Unless and until we purify ourselves by rendering practical service, Krishna will not reveal. You did that, and so Krishna revealed to you. Krishna wanted to teach you this lesson, and he has taught you. So Prabhupada actually, in many places, he stressed this so much This is from Prabhupada's book. The science of Krishna consciousness is appreciated by service attitude only. It is never understood by challenging spirit. This knowledge becomes revealed more and more as you are engaged in service attitude for Krishna. So as soon as Krishna sees that the devotee is seriously in serving mood, Krishna will reveal himself. Krishna is within you. He is awaiting your surrender and service. And as soon as he sees that you are seriously serving, Krishna will reveal. So Prabhupada is writing in a letter to his disciple, I request you to prolong this service attitude eternally, and Krishna will reveal himself unto you continually. Continuously Krishna will keep revealing if you are prolonging a service attitude. And the more and more we advance in service attitude, then in one letter Prabhupada is writing, in one lecture Prabhupada is saying, so you are doing your best to do this service, Vaishnava, in this remote village. Our Sudama Prabhu is also trying to give service to Krishna. He's talking of some direct practical service. Kindly stick to this service attitude. Never be misled by the allurement of Maya. Engage in Krishna's service. Remain engaged in Krishna's service wherever you are. Krishna will see. We don't want any recognition from anyone else. We want recognition from Krishna. Then in another letter he writes, I am glad to know that you are all working hard to expand Krishna consciousness propaganda in Boston. And now he says, I may say that this practical devotion is the secret to understanding the Shastras. See, even to read and understand Prabhupada books, Prabhupada is writing clearly. I may say that this practical devotion is the secret to understanding Shastras. My Guru Maharaj used to say that for one who is not engaged in devotional service, reading all the books is simply like licking the outside of the honey jar. And then it goes on. There is one Bhagavatam purport, you should all read it. It is 2.6.35. 2.6.35. Of course, service attitude also means doing proper reading, chanting. That is also service attitude. But many places Prabhupada is stressing service attitude as practical devotion. Like in this quote, he says, practical devotion is the secret to understanding. So in this quote, in this purport, 4 times Prabhupada mentions about service attitude. And this is about, in the purport, Brahma could understand the Lord to a little extent only when he was trying to serve him by the eagerness of his heart, which is devotional service mood. Therefore, Lord can be known only by sincere mood of eagerness for service. Sincere mood of eagerness for service. Where can I give service to the Lord? Then in the same purport, the devotee by service mood only can gradually know the personality of Godhead. By service mood only can gradually know the personality of Godhead. Then another place, the devotees are satisfied simply in being engaged in the service of the Lord regardless of the situation. See? Satisfied by simply engaging in service, all important S. S is the maximum number of words used in English dictionary. S has the highest number, S and P. So, devotees are satisfied simply by serving the Lord, and most importantly, regardless of the situation. Oh, today I'm feeling like this, I don't want to serve. Today I want to take rest. No. Regardless of the situation, devotees want to serve the Lord, and they're satisfied in that. Because this is like getting freed from the disease. And the last one, not last one, I think there are 5 times Prabhupada is writing, 5 or 4 times. Another one in the same purport. No one can know the personality of Godhead in full. Like today's purport. If you want to know him, you have to be seriously you must engage in service. You must be in service attitude. So no one can know the personality of Godhead in full. But at least to a certain extent, one can know the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, by how? By self-surrender and a devotional attitude, and by nothing else. So you see, our attitude, and I will read the last one. Acha, this is from Nectar of, so yeah, there were 4 quotes from 2.6.35. And in the Nectar of Instruction, in the preface, Prabhupada, it is a preface given by Prabhupada. Prabhupada is writing, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. This line, you can meditate on it, and it's a wonderful statement for all of us to keep in mind. Devotional service, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. What does this mean? Attitude of the follower, attitude in everything. Attitude in sadhana, attitude in service, attitude towards Vaishnavas, attitude towards everything that I see around. What is your attitude? How are you taking it? Are you taking it in the right attitude? And what is the right attitude? You should be very devoted. You should be tolerant. You should be forgiving. You should be compassionate. You should not be complaining. This is the right attitude. Because I have been given this wonderful opportunity, and what have I joined ISKCON for? To read, to chant, to worship, to do sadhana, to take prasadam, to hear Bhagavatam, and so many things. Everything is available, isn't it? But along with all these things, there will be some other things also. How do you take those other things? And if in the top of your mind, if these things are prominent, the other thing has a place to deal with it. But the overwhelming thing in our heart should be, oh, I am so blessed here. Everything is given to me. You know how people in the outside world are struggling? So difficult it is. But here in this temple, it is. That's why Prabhupada says our temples are Vaikuntha. So somebody asked a question, like you know that quote of Prabhupada, right? A brothel is mode of ignorance, cities are modes of passion, and temple is mode of goodness. And then he says it's not mode of goodness, it is Vaikuntha. Now, how many of you are feeling that this is a Vaikuntha? Actually, this is Vaikuntha, Prabhupada said. But are you getting a bliss like Vaikuntha? You're not getting, because inside a lot of contamination is there. That's why if you have to really go to Vaikuntha, the real Vaikuntha, you have to be completely cleansed. And that test is happening here. Unless and until you pass the test, you won't get promoted. So the test is all about attitude. For a person, just like in a garden filled with roses, little dirt is there somewhere. Little dirt somewhere. The one attitude is, oh, there's so much, they see that dirt here, the Mali is not maintaining it properly. There's so much of flowers, he's not seeing, little dirt he's seeing. This is one attitude. The other attitude, in a place full of dirt and filth, only dirt and filth, somehow one flower is growing. Sometimes one flower also grows, like lotus grows in midst of all the dirt. So one flower is going. So now the attitude can be, oh, so whole thing is filled with dirt, nobody is taking care. But the attitude for that person is, oh, such a nice flower is growing. One flower only is growing. So this is another attitude. So as devotees, Prabhupada is writing here, if we have to know the Lord, he must cultivate the service attitude. Unless service attitude is revived, we cannot understand God. So these are some of the things, if we want to really advance, Prabhupada is writing, we must be in the right attitude. So our heart, and what is the right attitude? Pranadapi shunichena, taroriva saishnuna, amanina, manadin. Only these 4 things, if you can apply, your spiritual life is done. So these are some of the things. We'll continue next class. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanand.